Um, yes, Raji, you're laughing. Elon Musk announced his departure from the U.S. president administration. He used his ex social handle to declare that there's a controversial government cost cutting measure that he planned, but he doesn't seem to be winning on it. He said he's leaving the administration that he had led for some months in cutting costs for the government. Gentlemen, what do you say? Let me start with Raji that was laughing. Raji,
Mm.
it looks like Trump and Elon. I
You
knew
know,
not knew it to happen, but we didn't know it would be this soon. Have you?
when George mentioned something about love at first sight, and that it doesn't normally last, I chuckled to myself because I remembered the love between uh,
Mhm.
Elon Musk and Trump. They are two very very different people. While
Okay.
Elon is methodical in his ways, uh, Trump just throws himself around everywhere.
Mm.
And as Elon Musk was trying to cut costs, Trump has brought in some expenditure of over 39 billion onto the same process. This was something Elon Musk was trying to reduce. So in fact, they are not birds of the same flock. So I don't see how they could be flocking together.
Mm.
So it's not surprising that their love affair has broken down so soon. I
Okay.
hope
It's
I
not.
hope it's not I hope it will not degenerate into hatred, because that's what
Yes.
happens with love at first
Yeah,
sight.
absolutely. Okay, George. Before you speak, let's see the clip of him announcing, making a general announcement to the
I
press.
was like disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, uh, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing.
Yes. So that was Elon saying that what he came to do is being undermined by what they have in mind doing, what the government is still
Hmm.
doing. George, tell us. The romance is over.
Take a look to the last man standing
Mhm.
and tell me who it is that have joined this man ever since he started his presidency, that is still standing,
That
that
has
have
not
not
fallen.
lost something or some kind of way got at us with him at the end. Tell me one who did not end up going to jail or maybe losing everything they have for some reason or the other. But Trump is the last man standing. Tell me why. I don't know. Listen, just because Elon Musk is a genius when it comes to running his businesses, the spacecraft, Tesla, and all those type of things, it doesn't mean that when you bring him into the government, that he will also do. He got some good ideas when they brought to him and gave him some of these issues that they are facing. Excuse me, governmentally, he applied what he knew, and that's what they call, I think it's called Doge. Or, yes, but you cannot bring a medical doctor to come and fix economic issues. So that is exactly what they did, and they met with a whole lot of a stiff resistance from the public, that because a lot of cost costing issues are taking place, and they say they're going to save trillions of dollars, which they did not. So at the end of these 100 days, it was a disaster, and he had to go. But the thing was, Trump learned something from Elon Musk, and that is the love for, cryptocurrency and a way to hide your money. So you can get bribed and money will be flowing in there and nobody will know it, as long as you have your way to access your billions and nobody will know how much. And that's something that he succeeded in doing, and he's gone. Trump will continue with it. Because if you see what's happening with cryptocurrency in US right now, it is a government of US that is really benefiting, and that's the Trump administration, he himself and his family. So that's exactly what is happening. So he's done his job, explained it to Trump. Trump understood it. Now he's running with it. So Elon Musk can go back and fix all the wounds that have been caused based on affiliation with Trump. That's what he's doing. He's licking his wounds.
Yeah, Raji, you said something very, very strong. Raji, you said you hope this doesn't lead to some more bitter animosity, bickering, which normally happens when there is this kind of breakdown in relationship. But will this not be dangerous for Trump's administration? You listen to where I'm going. Elon Musk now understands a lot of underground, back end things happening in the government. And he's a genius. Some Congress people said this when he came in, that Elon Musk will be seeing some back end of their activities, and that's risky also security wise to the government. So do you think that if Trump does anything funny to him or goes beyond now, he could shut down the government one way or the other? Raji, what do you think?
I don't think so. In fact, there's what we call mutually assured destruction. If Elon Musk makes certain moves, he could be destroyed by a government, because government is powerful. Government is powerful. No matter how much you know about government can easily shut you down.
The point is this. Trump is an unleashed president, unleashed. So there is no leash on him. So Elon Musk knows how dangerous Trump can be, because he'll wake up tomorrow morning and just say something and shut down everything, and then let's go to court and fight it. So Elon is not gonna. He might, he himself is unhinged in a lot of areas. So he might make some comments, but there will be a private phone call to stop the madness by Trump, and Trump will do it. So it's not a man that you can just come and just openly want to fight with and do something. He will wake up tomorrow and do something that is crazy and say, no more Elon Musk cars in United States. You cannot ship, you cannot buy it, and he can do something like that. Trump is unleashed. He's unhinged. So I think Elon Musk will respect himself to a degree.
Wow. Guys, we are talking. Viewers, you're listening. We are doing the talk. You are listening. So we're here on our Friday International Update, SSM. I, George, and Raji were here today, the 30th of May. Let's do a small break, gentlemen. Let's do a small break, and we'll be back. Thank you.
Elevate your new week, fuel your success. SSM invites you to kickstart each weekday with our news update Between the Lines, featuring the week's top news and analysis and the most attention-grabbing lines, deciphering world events. Hook up to SSM Monday program Between the Lines. In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in diaspora and at home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa. Looking for the right answers to hard and sometimes confusing global events? Look no further. SSM's team brings unique perspectives from across the globe. Our in-depth independent reporting is to make you better understand the world as we evolve.
All right, gentlemen, you're welcome back. George, Raji, beautiful outing here today. Let's come to something also happening in another parts of Europe. Poland is holding its presidential runoff election. I think that will be June the 1st, on Sunday. Poland is very, very uh, um, somehow it affects Europe. So this election actually has some global implications to it, because Trump also wants is sitting, he's rooting for a particular candidate. But generally, gentlemen, it's about Russia, who's an ally to Russia, who's with Russia, and all that. So my question to you guys, as Poland goes to its election, is why does Russia affect Europe? Why do everything center on this country, Russia? Raji, I know it's one of your beloved countries. Tell us.
You know, historically, Russia has been instrumental to the progress of Europe, to the
Okay.
security of Europe. Russia might have lost more than 27 million people during the Second World War.
Mhm.
They put their lives on the line to save Europe. Russia is part of Europe, and it is better for the Europeans to look into history about how Russia has been instrumental to their unity, to their security, and collaborate more with Russia than they are allowing American interests to interfere in their relationship with Russia.
Hmm.
Now, since the unbundling of the USSR, America had made sure that every president of any of the old satellite countries of Russia, of USSR, has, if the president is not favorable to America, that president has been deposed. The US has invaded Russian former USSR territories to impose their preferred candidate. The same thing happened to the guy who was before this comedian Zelensky came in. It has happened in almost all the other places. It has happened even in Poland. And I don't know why US meddlesomeness is affecting the security of Europe. Europeans, will be better for them to collaborate with Russia. They belong to the same continent and they share
Hmm.
security issues.
Hmm.
It is better for them. Yes.
Thank you, George. The one thing we're also seeing is that Europe says they've lifted long range restriction on Ukraine. So this means that Europe now supports Ukraine to blow into Russia and do whatever they can, because our man is not heeding to any ceasefire plan. So what do we see with this, George? Do we see this war escalating instead of reduce coming down?
I was in Poland, I think it was 2 years ago, and
Okay.
um, and I was able to discuss quite a few number of these, issues because the war in Ukraine was still going on when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
What you will see largely with most of them is that they were afraid that if Ukraine is allowed to be annexed by Russia, that the next one will be Poland.
Okay.
They were afraid of it. And you talk to a lot of their elite, they will tell you this is our fear, that they don't allow, they will not allow Russia to annex, Poland, because if they Ukraine, because if they do, the next one in line, according to them and their belief, will be Poland, that Russia will come after Poland. So, and that's one of the major issues that they were having then. But as it stands right now, also, you will see that the interest between the two world leaders, US and Russia, is still at play here. A lot of
Hmm.
people would rather be with Europe against Russia because US is against Russian invasion of Ukraine.
Mhm.
So they
Mhm.
rather stay with them, and that's why you see this politics playing. Who is it that is going to come in now? Would he sound with Europe and US against Russia, or would the person who will be sensitive to what Russia is doing come and want to fall in love with Putin? You know that, and then that means that they're going to be against European support and the US support of Ukraine. So that's what you're seeing basically happening right here. So how
Very
it's
good.
going to
Whether
pan out,
So,
I'm not
so,
quite sure.
so the man you're seeing there is called Noaraki. Noaraki. That's the man Trump is rooting for to win this election. He's the second. They are just two contestants remaining now. And what that means is because he aligns with the United States policy, and he also wants support from the United States. But the other man is called Transzewski. Transzewski, that's the one on your, uh, if you're watching, the one on your left hand side in the screen. So he is a Trump, a Putin ally, and somehow he has also gained the favor of China and Russia. So we are seeing two things play out here now: two people, two allies, two foes, and all that. But at the end of it all, Raji, whoever wins on Sunday, what matters the most is lead the people, bring good life to the people of Poland. That's what matters.
the
I mean, not war,
see,
war, war.
all the fear mongering that have been put into the heart of these Europeans is from the
Mhm.
US.
Okay.
Russia, after 1994, had no intention of going beyond its borders. It was only interested in protecting its sphere. It was actually not even interfering in the affairs of all those satellite towns. It was actually US was interfering in all those things, ensuring that anti-Russian sentiments were whipped up and fear was brought in. There's no way. In fact, Russia did not have any intention of annexing Ukraine. Russia has taken over Crimea and they have access to a one port, and they were okay. They have no intention whatsoever because inside Ukraine there are more than 40% ethnic Russians, and therefore there was no reason why they should go to war. They have gotten the one port they wanted, and they were okay until the comedian came in and he was persuaded to fight Russia until the last man, and then it's up to that. He has put Ukraine into slavery for the next 100 years.
Hmm. Okay. Um, it's getting interesting. George, let's go further with some other news from your end. We see now that America is looking like they are closing their borders to even students. During the week, Marco Rubio says that the US will begin to revoke visas to Chinese students. George, um, does this look good? Because a lot of students want to come to school in the United States. What we saw yesterday is that these universities in the UK now look like they are getting more numbers.
They
And
they will get more numbers. And number
okay,
one is part of the problem that the U.S. administration was having is that Trump wakes up in the morning and whatever he feels like doing, he will just put it on the on the social media, and that becomes a law, and everybody fears or angry over
It's a
that.
policy.
You see, the point is this: Marco Rubio is nothing but a puppet.
okay,
Okay, a puppet to
okay,
the degree that he is being used.
okay.
And look at since he started. I mean,
Hmm.
most of the function he's supposed to be having as Secretary of State, the Vice President was the one having it. And one of the major issues we have is something came out from a news from I think the New York Times was saying
Hmm.
that Trump's son
Hmm.
was denied admission. in most of these major universities like Harvard and the rest of them. And that's Trump's anger. And to a degree, it could be true. It could be true. Now, because these people, they are reputable news organizations, without authenticating what they say, they will not say it, because they can become liable. So it is very likely that it's because of Trump's son being denied admission in some of these universities that Trump is going after them and deciding to destroy, the Harvard University. The war is on now. I mean, a lot of other universities. So, the thing is this: self-interest is really what is playing a lot in the United States today. It's no longer the people's interest, but self-interest comes first. Then, if he aligns with the people, good. If he doesn't, go to hell. That's what the administration is doing, because it's so difficult to work under Trump and know how to defend him unless you become like him. Because no reasonable individual can actually work for Trump and be able to come to the public and defend a lot of decisions that he's making. And that's what's happening with the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. Most of the things he's doing, he hates it. He cannot stand most of the things he's doing, but he has no choice. If he wants to remain in that post, he must do as Emperor Trump said, or else you're out the door.
Yeah, right.
You must do
that's what it is.
Trump says, or else you're out the door.
Right.
But you see, what will happen the most is these Chinese students that are now being targeted. Obviously, Harvard has increased its intake, and I know how much United States makes from education of international students. A lot. So Trump is not looking at all of that. He's probably, because I heard this thing you said, and it's true. I think to a large extent it's true, because you can't give that kind of information mostly when it pertains to the president. Now, what we know is universities like that don't just admit students because you are the son of so. You must get to that criteria. You must be academically very, very, very sound. So we don't know why all of this, but this is it. Viewers, we are talking Friday, the 30th of May, our international update. Gentlemen, let's come to something. I don't know if Raji is following that too. Hundreds of starving Palestinians stormed Gaza food warehouse. This is the report United Nations is bringing. Now, they are now turning their back against Gaza, the Gaza militants. Raji, Palestinians are now against this so-called militant. They call them militant now. And they are going into their warehouse, taking the food, because they have stocked those food long ago. And the owners of the land say they are famished, they are hungry. Why would somebody come and pack up food? Raji, do you have that story? Do you have the story?
Why are you blaming? Who are the militants that you are blaming now? There's an embargo on even food supplies and food, water, electricity coming into Gaza. It is a deliberate action by the Zionists, by the Israeli people.
No,
they are deliberately not Hamas. They are deliberately starving the people in Gaza to death. It's deliberate genocide. The United Nations is not doing anything about it. They are supported by the US. Recently, we understood that China broke the embargo and dropped food aid in Gaza. There's no way the Hamas will be starving its own people. So don't please.
Well, the videos we've seen, I will play one, but there's a particular one that they were calling out Hamas for stock keeping those things. And let's see this one.
ياجوج وماجوج ياجوج وماجوج ماتوا من الجوع حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ياجوج ياجوج وماجوج حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل على اللي كان السبب حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل.
Okay, because Israelis can't come to the Palestinian land, to Gaza, and stockpile food. Do you understand? You can't do that. I mean, this is another man's territory. So it is
There's
this
no food
so-called.
coming in. Which man's territory are you talking about? Gaza is under embargo, under complete
No. You're not getting the news. The news is that there are storage facilities
you are
inside
getting
Gaza.
the news that you want
No.
to give out.
No. Hear this.
The disinformation that the Israeli
there,
people are giving out. That's what you are interested in. So you are blaming Hamas. Hamas cannot be stockpiling food. Hamas personnel have been targeted regularly by the Israeli occupation forces in Gaza. Gaza is an occupied territory, and the Zionists are ensuring that the people are starved to death.
well, two opposites. I
Well,
will not.
it's not actually opposite. We have seen it. Even Benjamin Netanyahu, in a statement, basically kind of agreed with what Olayinka Raji is saying. There's been a lot of underhandedness in this particular systemic destroying of these people, which is so wrong. It is very, very, very wrong. I mean, these are innocent people. I mean, I know the Hamas did this and all that kind of stuff. They came and they killed a lot of, 1,200 people, kidnapped a lot of them and all that kind of stuff. But these are innocent people, young children, old people. And these people are being starved to death. I mean, the food that we're talking about here, they couldn't reach that place to get the food because there was an embargo. For months now, Benjamin Netanyahu is not allowing provision to go into this place, which we know is a war crime. It's not good. You gotta allow people to eat, to feed children, innocent people. It is unacceptable. And what has happened is other news have taken over. We turn our faces away from them, and they are systematically being eliminated slowly. It is unacceptable. It is wrong. It is immoral and should not be allowed to happen. We have to consider the little children, innocent people. Come on. I mean, enough is enough.
For such a thing to happen,
look at this,
and for the whole world not to be dead to that immorality, indecency, is to have made the Palestinians subhuman, and that is what the Israelis teach their children in their schools. They are subhuman, they are not human, and therefore they can be eliminated. It is unquestionable.
I don't know about them teaching those such because
it is what they teach them. They teach their children to regard the Palestinian children as dogs, and therefore you can kill them.
Well,
Israeli snipers.
You can also
snipers deliberately target children, shoot them in the crotch or shoot them in the head.
You can also say the same thing
all
about
of this is happening because Hamas came into that zone and took over the leadership.
Hamas did not come to take over the leadership. It was Hamas was even deliberately built up by the US and by the Israeli forces as a counterforce against PLO. PLO was much more acceptable until the Hamas were financed by Israel itself. I've seen a video where Netanyahu was planning all these things that would finance them as a counterforce against the same way the US CIA financed Al Qaeda, the same way they financed the jihadists in Syria, the ISIS and all those things, the same way that this Mossad and the US have been financing.
And most times, all of this backfires. It backfires against the finances. The story still goes that Hamas came in, and because Hamas presence is there, it becomes my enemies, my enemy in a territory that are of my that are friend to me.
Ha,
But because
ha,
my enemy is
ha,
in that territory, I have to go after. I have to take everybody
Hamas,
out.
Hamas, Hamas, Hamas is become the representative of the people. The people cannot go without representatives. The PLO, which was representing them before, has been disseminated by American and Zionist propaganda. So the people have Hamas as their protectors.
So
And the
can they
war
find?
didn't start.
Can
The
they
war didn't
reject?
start in October 7th, 2002 or 2003. The war started as far back as 1947. It is the same war that is going on, ongoing every year, and getting
Okay,
weaker and weaker and
you know
weaker.
the
Can I ask a
Hamas.
question? It's
Uh-huh.
Please
almost
do.
like if it's almost like what is happening in Syria now. You know, where it was actually a terrorist organization before that actually finally unseat the government, but they were
Yes,
under the auspices of a terrorist organization. And in the same
yes,
way, it's almost like akin to Boko Haram now winning over and taking the government and causing
yes.
havoc all over. My question is, can the elites in that country form their own government rather than affiliating with such so-called named organization that is a terrorist organization? Because that's what's the major
How did
issue.
how did the terrorist organization come to be able to take over government? They are supported by American interests. That's why
They were. I agree with you.
America now has raised the flag in Kenya.
I
So
I agree with you.
when the government like that,
What I'm
hold on,
asking is this: hold tight,
let
hold
me answer
tight.
your question. Let me
Okay.
answer your question. When the government like that comes into power, the first target are the elitists who are going to be opposition to them, and therefore they
Okay,
destroy those elitists. Yes. It's a simple
okay.
process.
Simple process. All right, gentlemen. Let's go further to one topic. US, like I said earlier, and Europe said they've lifted a long range restriction that was in on Ukraine. And now that means that Ukraine can use some really sophisticated long range weapons to fight in this war. I know some of those weapon long range were given to them by UK, United Britain. And this means, George, does this mean more war? Are we going to be seeing, instead of this war stopping, we'll be seeing more dead bodies, body bags,
See, one
more?
of the major problems we have is this: this war has been only one-sided. Russia can
Mhm.
use any kind of military equipment against Ukraine, and Ukraine is barred from doing that, is limited from doing that.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why you keep on seeing what is happening. They're destroying infrastructures, they're destroying all kinds of things. Russia has been on the defensive. I mean, Ukraine has been on the defensive. If they
Mhm.
allow them now to be on the offensive, it's going to be more catastrophic destruction, because what Russia is now saying is if that is allowed, they will use nuclear weapon against them. So that
Mm.
has been the fear for the longest. That if Russia is now allowed,
That
if Ukraine is allowed to use some of these long range missiles against Russia, Russia promises that they will use nuclear weapon to just destroy the whole entire place. So now the
Yes.
question is,
Russia has no intention of using nuclear weapons.
well, you're speaking for Putin,
Russia
aren't
will
you?
not use nuclear weapons. So
You're speaking for
stop
Putin.
frightening,
No,
stop
you're
scaring
speaking.
yourself.
No, no,
Stop,
no, no,
stop.
no. You gotta place
Stop.
facts on the table. You have to place facts on the
On
table.
the table.
Which are
You
these
are
facts?
not.
Tell me.
You are not. What's his name's spokesperson? Russia.
You are Putin's
Putin. Putin.
spokesperson.
Putin does what he wants whenever he wants it. Yes,
Mm.
he does, and
Okay.
you know
There is
it.
that
Okay.
this is all
What?
American propaganda. This is all American
Mhm.
propaganda. This is American scaremongering. Putin
And
does
that's the
not
reason
have
why they
the
haven't stopped the
intention.
war, right?
the reason Putin has no intention of using nuclear weapons
Oh,
because
yeah,
fighting Ukraine. Let me
oh,
tell you, fighting Ukraine, Russia fighting Ukraine is like my granddaughter trying to fight me. No matter how much power he has, a single blow is enough for me to. So Russia cannot go after a fly with a sledgehammer. No, just a simple fly swap. And let me assure you,
this is your opinion. This is
Europe is putting themselves into danger, unnecessary danger.
this is your this is your opinion.
Europe is almost bankrupt. What are they going to do? What are they doing? And they don't even have need for those arms, so they can ship them up to Ukraine because before those ammunition expire in their armory, they want to ship it up.
Olayinka Raji, when you speak like that, say, I believe that Russia. Don't say Russia is not, because you are not a spokesperson for them. Neither can you tell what Putin is going to do tomorrow. You don't know the man. All you're just reading the news. So say, I believe that Russia is not that Russia is not. Don't say that, because
Russia
you
will
were not in
not
their meeting
use
All
yesterday.
right.
nuclear weapons.
Anyway,
Russia will not use any nuclear weapons against Ukraine because Ukraine is just a fly, and then Russia will not go after it with a sledgehammer.
Well, that's the reason why they won the war in after 6 months, right? They are, that's why. That's the reason.
No.
They plan on annihilating them 11 days.
No, but you see, you don't seem to
gentlemen,
understand what is happening. What is the intention of Russia?
gentlemen,
Russia does not have the
gentlemen,
intention to take over Ukraine. Russia
we
has
have
taken over the Crimea where they needed. So what that is happening is that they are wasting Ukrainian people.
Is this what you guys
Russia does
discussed
not have.
yesterday at the meeting?
Russia does not want to take over Ukraine.
Is that what
Simple
you
and
guys
short.
discussed yesterday at the meeting?
Oh no,
all right,
Let,
all right.
let's be serious. Let's be serious. Russia has no intention of taking over Ukraine
Oh my God.
because
But
it
you know the
has
lines I'm
more
reading,
widening implications.
George and Reggie. You know the lines I'm reading on this thing now, escalating instead
Yes.
of subsiding. I'm reading this
Yes.
line that America is coming in to mine and do some business with Ukraine, which will bring lots of money. A lot of European
Yes.
countries want to come in and do business too, but Russia
Yes.
want to keep the war going to stop that business activities.
You see,
That's what I see. That's what I
like my
see.
people will say, Arije Nibi Madaru, those who cause mayhem so that they can benefit from it. That's what US has been doing all over the world. That's why
But
Europeans are
Russia
also
now
going to do
is
also.
playing this the corny, very corny one by not allowing.
Yes.
Let this just
By
be.
not allowing
Let
that to happen,
business.
yes.
Let this. Let people be. I mean, what's all this killing people for?
So
When
so so
not
so
happening?
so so so
Huh?
so so let Europe and US take themselves out of the scene.
No, no,
That is
no. Let them come into the
like
scene
hold on,
rather and bring peace.
like George mentioned before, there will have been a ceasefire if Trump has not come in bungling in into the meeting. They will have been a ceasefire, but because they want the war on, they want the war to be ongoing. That's why they are doing everything to
No,
annoy
Reggie,
Putin.
you're contradicting it. It is not Russia that wants the war to be going on because it
It is
doesn't
not
want.
Russia. It
But
is
but
not.
but
It
why
is.
why is he the
It
one
is.
still not adhering
Hold
to
on,
the? Yeah.
hold on. You don't know the games that they are playing because
Okay.
of the mineral resources of Ukraine.
Uh-huh.
If there's a ceasefire now, they may not have easy access into Ukraine because Russia has taken over the place that they want. If there's a peace ceasefire now, it means then that the Europeans and the US will not have any reason to come in again. So they have to sustain the war. They have to make everything possible for Putin to want to go on with the war with all the things that they are doing. They are
No.
causing him.
Hey, Raji is contradicting the whole thing. Raji, you've turned
No,
up
no,
the
no, no,
you turned
no.
it
You
upside down.
get my point. Get my point.
But
You said
there's
you
about 3 billion. There's about $3
Like,
billion at stake that America has agreed with Ukraine. So why will
yes.
somebody that's coming to give you $3 billion want to continue war when they've signed, when they have agreed that, listen, come and take mineral, come and do business with us? Obviously, they want a peace passage so that they can come in.
They
Why
can
will Europeans
if they
that also want to come and take out of the soil, out of the mineral, want to keep war when they have nothing gaining from that? Don't you don't
see
understand this
they
logic?
you know you are not getting my point.
Uh-huh.
There will have been a ceasefire now without the involvement of the US and the
Mm-hmm.
Europeans. But they don't
Mm-hmm.
want that. They want a peace, a ceasefire negotiated by them, by US and Europe.
No, okay, let's
So,
come on.
yes,
Raji, maybe you need to get it well. Maybe you know what you're saying somehow, but I think it's twisted in a way that
you are
I
no,
don't.
you are not, you are no, you are the one who doesn't understand the mischief that is going on between the Europeans
Wow,
and the US, so
wow.
that they have easy access to the resources of Ukraine. Since
No, but
Ukraine have been stupid
there's
himself,
there's an
since
agreement.
Ukraine
So
since Ukraine has been stupid to have put himself into that silly agreement. That agreement was never in their favor.
no,
That agreement they signed was never in their favor.
no,
Therefore,
no,
the
no,
war ab initio was not in their favor. They will have to
no,
be pushed into
Raji,
it so that they will be in a
Raji.
situation where they
Okay,
can be taken advantage of by the US and the Europeans
all
who
right.
seemingly are fighting
Let's
for them.
let's come back next time. George and
Yeah.
Raji. Anyhow, it's been beautiful today. We've had good discussion, very good numbers to listening, following us. Our viewers, we've done it 30th of May. Today is our international update. George was here, Raji was here, and we'll be here on Monday again for Between the Lines, hopefully, by the grace of God. But until then, have a beautiful weekend. Gentlemen, do you have any last words for today? Is there anything you want to add?
Well, I just
Wishing
want
all our viewers a very, very enjoyable weekend, restful weekend. Do not go into any fight with anybody.
Ah,
Keep the peace.
well,
nice,
I will say let there be peace around the world.
Keep the peace, yes.
Let's consider
nice.
our children.
Mhm.
Nigeria just celebrated you know,
Children's Day.
Children's Day the other day, and we
Mhm.
are thinking about the children also that are in Gaza Strip. Please, let's make sure that they are fed. Do not starve the children because God doesn't like ugly. And also, we want everybody to enjoy their weekend, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and God bless our President Asiwaju Tinubu, and grant him wisdom for the next 2 years to bring in ideas that will benefit the people. Well, thank you all for
Thank you.
watching.
Thank you.
Wonderful. All right, guys. Hasta la vista. Until we come again, arrivederci. Bye bye.
Arrivederci.
Yes.
Right.